We're
good. I'll let you one. Good.
All right.
All right. Offensive line coach Brad Jones. Questions when you're ready.
Coach, since Coach Early was just in here and you spent a lot of years with him, tell us about just getting to know him and what kind of coach he is.
He's a competitor. I think what he brings energy-wise and just his attention to detail, his players always play hard, but they're just really well coached. I mean, they pick up stances. They pick up all these small, minute keys that you don't really expect D linemen to pick up. And like I said, they're just extremely productive. I know they're always tops in the country in sacks, so he's been a great addition for us here.
Coach, what do you think of Connor Collison? Obviously, his freshman year you weren't here for, but he made a big jump in his sophomore year, but still had some struggles on kind of some snap issues. What are your thoughts on him, or what are you working on this offseason?
Yeah, I think he knows his deficiencies, right? He's obviously been attacking his weaknesses. That was his goal. He's also, he's got a pact in the O-line room that he won't have any pre-snap penalties. And thus far, I'll knock practice 5 today. He hasn't had any. So he knows, that's my biggest challenge to everyone in the room is just really attack your weaknesses, right? We'll continue to build on your strengths. That was one that really showed up in some critical situations. But he's only going to grow from it and continue to get better.
What's been your impressions of Caden Green since you got to work with him?
He's been great. I mean, he's been a good fit for our room. He's really bought in to just the culture, him coming from Oklahoma and having the success that he had. I'm playing Texas and playing some of those bigger schools. I don't think the room, the competition's any different than what he was facing. I actually met with him again this morning. He's just eager to learn. He's eager to improve every day and just try to perfect his craft. So I think the world of the kid. He's been nothing but great. I mean, he's a great student, but just a great addition to the room.
Coach Cameron Johnson, is the plan to move him over to the left side, and just where do you see him?
Yeah, bringing Cam coming with me from Houston, he started really 3 years there at left guard, so just a little bit more, comfort, I think, and then just having a new guy with Caden, just having somebody that's mature and that was in the system last year. That was kind of my initial thought. So just having somebody for him to rely on and lean on and build some chemistry, which they've done a pretty good job thus far.
Coach, how fast or slow is this process to find a new starting guard? Is it something out of spring camp that you guys want to have a good idea, at least competition-wise, that we got 2 or 3 guys, or is it something you want to attack in the portal?
I think the key, and Coach Drinks hit on it, this is really a big growth week, for a guy like Logan Riker, for a guy like Tristan Wilson, just to see just how far they can, how much better they can be than they were the previous week. Ultimately we want to do what's best for the team. Right now, I don't really see just a ton of holes. I think we have just about what we need, but if there's an opportunity for us to add a better piece, we're obviously entertain that.
One of the new guys, Jalen Richardson, curious, I know he can play a bunch of different places, but what you've seen out of him and where do you think his best spot is? He's been one that I really have been impressed with. He's working some left tackle. He does have the position flexibility to move to the right. But I'm really glad that we have him. I mean, he's a technician. He's one of those kids just adjusting to the speed of the game. He's gotten better and better. Each practice, he's obviously in a position to earn his number. So like I said, he's got some technical things that we're just working through, but I mean, I've been extremely proud of him. Just picking up a new offense, just transitioning from junior college ball to now, so I can't say enough good things about him.
Coach, last year, Marcellus Johnson was the swing tackle for this team. He was on some 6-man sets or coming filling in. It doesn't get talked about a lot, but how important is finding the next swing tackle?
Yeah, it's extremely important. Just having a guy like Javen, a guy like Mitch Walters, who's played, some significant snaps, which he's another guy that I've been pretty impressed with thus far. Those guys provide you an opportunity to get heavy and create some mismatches for defensively, defensive personnel-wise. So that is important, but just, throughout the week in practice, continuing to work those guys, and so they can have some chemistry if something unforeseen happens, some type of injury. So that's kind of been my thought with that.
Might be dumb to ask about the potential of moving a 2-year starter, but is Armand a guy who you could move around depending on how it all works?
I try not to create just a ton of holes, you know what I mean? And, it took me a lot, and took me and Coach Drink a while to get to, hey, move Cam to left and, obviously create some competition at the right guard spot. So I think he's comfortable at right tackle. I think, moving forward, he knows that in the NFL probably have to bump inside. But as of right now, I want him to, really focus on the right tackle position and being, the best he can be.
Johnny Walker said the other day that he thinks Armand is the best run blocker in the country. He said Caden's not that far behind. How would you assess how those guys are doing in that?
They're improving. I've spent a lot of time with Armand, this, January after the bowl game, just some of the areas of his game that he needs to improve on. I think, he's got some wasted movement, some things of that he really has been very, hard on himself about trying to correct. We do run the outside zone. I mean, we do it every day. We're going to do the same individual just about every day. So we just want to master that. And there's still something I can find, just the smallest thing. But the kids, like I said, the culture in the room has changed significantly. They're just eager to improve. It's there's no complaining, no BCDing or whining. They just want to, reach their full potential.
Going back to Logan Baker, just, what does he need to show you to show that he's ready, I guess, for that spot?
It's just confidence. I think for him, Logan is, a physical specimen. I mean, he's going to test through the roof and all of those things, but just the confidence, trusting his technique, just knowing and being confident in his assignment, which he's making significant strides there. But, I'm patient with him because I know he's rather young. He hasn't been here a full year just yet. But I also have really high expectations for him, and he knows that, and I challenge him, every day to reach those if he wants to get in the mix and be the starter. I mean, he's got to rise to those other guys. I mean, those other guys have, a ton of college experience, but just physically, I've got to do a good job of preparing him and putting him in good situations.
How much closer is he now than he was when he first got here to get?
It's night and day. Yeah, it's night and day. I mean, and we spend a lot of time with him, and more, just one-on-one situations, just trying to really teach the game. In some settings, most kids, and that's what I do, try to figure out which kids don't like asking a ton of questions in that group setting and which guys are confident doing that. And, he's one of those guys that, he'll ask you some stuff, but, I just want to make sure that I'm doing a good job and thoroughly explaining it so he can improve and get better and make some strides out there on the field.
Brandon, with what you were talking about earlier about not wanting to move guys over and create a bunch of holes, how do you kind of balance that with wanting to have a versatile group that is ready for when injury hits?
Ultimately, in my mind, I have about 8 kids, and that's really the NFL model. We have a swing tackle, a backup center, and a guard that can play both, left or right. And what I do throughout the week in practice is, when we do those walkthrough situations, I roll guys like every 2 or 3 plays. So the combination's never the same. And, if like I said, if there's any injury, we've taken countless amount of reps throughout the season. I know, how this guy's going to combo step with me, how he's going to pass off this twist. So it's really not a drop off. And you just plug and play, guys.
Chris Jones? Thank you all.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.